Governor McMaster has received some backlash behind his response to COVID-19 and some of the executive orders that were put into place. George Godfrey reports now members of the Senate reviewing the governor's powers when it comes to a state of emergency.
A group of South Carolina senators is currently reviewing the governor's executive powers and what he can and cannot do under those orders. The first order of business for members of a Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Wednesday was to review the state's leading health agency, DHEC, which is currently operating under an interim director.
Considering the situation that we're in, I think it's extremely important that DHEC have a full-time director as soon as possible.
Lawmakers are pushing for a permanent replacement to improve the agency's pandemic operations and to help define the department's emergency powers.
You believe that DHEC's emergency powers must be triggered by a state of emergency declared by the governor?
Yes.
On the agenda were several bills relating to emergency orders in the state, in this case as it relates to the current pandemic. The bills outline when the governor can issue an emergency order and how long those orders can stay in place.
The governor's authority expires every 15 days, and they've been sort of jerry-rigging that. So we need to look at, and I've distributed an analysis of the North Carolina governor's emergency powers, and we need to look at every other state and see how they do it. But you don't want an Emergency Powers Act that expires every 15 days.
They also outline what powers local governments have under the governor's state of emergency.
This idea that we're going to leave everything up to local government hasn't worked. What we do know is where they do have a mask ordinance, where they do enforce social distancing, that the infection rates are dramatically lower. So the science is not debatable. What is debatable is the political response to that.
The Department of Health and Environmental Control plans to have a new director ready to present to the General Assembly by January. In Columbia, George Godfrey.
And that subcommittee will continue to meet for the rest of the year, hopes of presenting clear proposals to the General Assembly for the next legislative session.